savings and different type of service through the FirstNet. So that's what I'm requesting today.
Okay. Any questions, comments, or concerns? I believe we've started this discussion because of the fact that the police department utilizing their own personal phones for police business is not really acceptable and not a good practice, so that we needed to get them phones so that they can separate their personal lives from their professional lives. So I think it's kind of a no-brainer at this point. Anybody?
I think we should do it, we're gonna save some money, a couple $1,000 at least.
Okay.
I'll make a motion, we go ahead and pay that bill off.
Okay. So we have a motion on the floor by Alderman Minkus to go ahead and move forward with the merge and pay off the remainder of the phone balance. Do we have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Alderman Marcus. Roll call.
Alderman Brooks.
Yes.
Leader.
Yes.
Tucker.
Yes.
Minkus.
Yes.
Marcus.
Yes.
Judd.
Yes.
Myers.
Yes.
Pittman.
Yes.
Okay. All right, on to the stormwater project. To start off with, I actually met with many residents last Wednesday, I believe. I had received a few calls that they were upset and concerned about the Leader article and that they have their own problems that they're dealing with. So I went and met with them, and I appreciate the conversations that we had because they absolutely have major concerns that we are overlooking right now. I did go back and look at some of our stuff that we have on our public hearings that we did, and through Cochran Engineering, the #1 priority at that point was the sinkhole. They said that it was an absolute. I just kind of went back and went through some of my notes and things of that, and speaking with Wade back then, that sinkhole and the backup there is causing a tremendous amount of problems, safety, all kinds of stuff for our residents. And in all honesty, I can relate to what they're saying, that we're taking all the money and utilizing it in one subdivision. And after looking at some of the pictures that they have sent me of their homes, literally Peggy Drive looks like a river. You cannot drive down the road without driving in a river. So this really needs to be a priority for these people on how we are going to handle this. We've already earmarked that money, I get it, for Tierra for this year, but we need to find something that's going to start this year also to help alleviate them. We are getting ready to get into the rainy season. Like, we haven't seen anything yet. We have rain coming in tomorrow, and it's supposed to be a downpour, and these people are going to have homes flooded. So I get it that in Tierra we're trying to fix the streets, and absolutely they need help. We've been trying to help them for some time to keep that going. But this situation is not just one or two streets on, not one or two homes on each street. It's literally every home on the block for a 6-block radius. Like, it is like a lake on these pictures that they are showing us. It's unacceptable, and I don't blame them for being upset with us right now. I think we're doing a grave misservice for them. So I want to see a good workshop coming forward soon, like at the next one we do with the next workshop, because it's unacceptable. These people, their driveways are cracking, they're sinking, and I believe that they absolutely have a valid concern that their homes could sink. Whatever is going on, that is a major problem, and I think we should have paid a little bit more attention to that, and I am grateful that you all called me and asked me to meet with you, because I didn't realize that it was that bad.
Madam Mayor?
I'm sorry.
Madam Mayor, point of inquiry.
Yes.
Didn't Cochran Engineering say in the outset that should be our priority, was the sinkhole?
They did, and we did have discussions on it. However, it was the cost and the issues of not, I mean, it's been years. We've dived the sinkhole. We've done everything we thought we could do to figure it out. It isn't enough. It isn't enough. We can't say that it's too costly, because what's going to happen is these residents are going to lose their homes that they've had for some 50, 60 years. And literally, if you go to the subdivisions, I mean, I have pictures that they have sent me on my phone, their driveways are sinking. Where you have Peggy Drive, you have the whole ditch line that goes from Peggy all the way over to Larkin and Pinson. You've got a 6-foot ditch that is full and is completely overflowing into their yards, another 60, 70 feet from the ditch line.
Is this Ward 2?
It's 2 and 3, actually.
Three.
Part of Shavern is 2 and part of it's 3.
Okay.
So it's both wards, and it is, I can't say anything other than I'm really sorry, guys. I'm really, really sorry. And I think that this needs to be a major priority, not just for next year's money, but we need to start now.
Yeah.
Because they've got major problems and it's not gonna go away. So
Do we need to get Cochran in here? Come down from,
they need to be
meeting?
in here and they need to be here for the next workshop, and we need to have some major looking at what's going on. I mean, I have this one picture that Danielle that got up and spoke showed me, and in all honesty, I'm not kidding you when I say that Peggy Drive literally looks like a river coming through their road. And when you get to the intersection right there of Peggy and Shelburne, I think it is, Banks, Peggy, Shelburne, Banks, it's kind of a all and round. Like, this is what you look at, and I know you can't all see it, but
Can you give those
that
pictures?
is what you look at.
That's it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Can you give those pictures to Andy so we got
Yeah,
it for
I'll
the
send
workshop?
it.
Yeah, I got that.
So I will send everything along with the pain points, the numbers, the addresses, and everything that I have received from these guys. But unacceptable, just absolutely unacceptable. And again, all I can say is I'm sorry. Yep.
Can you have Cochran bring with them, because I remember that sinkhole was, I mean,
It's plain as day on our
extremely
chart, number one.
costly, yeah. And I do remember saying we needed to get on it, but I've got a friend, Chris, that lives over there, who's telling me the same thing about his backyard. Went back and looked, like his fence is gonna fall because
Yep.
it's just washed everything out from underneath it, so.
Yeah, it's, I lived over there 25 years ago. I bought my first house at 824 Peggy Drive, which I spoke with Mike the other night, who actually bought my house from me, great guy. And I can say that I never had flooding in my backyard like he does now. And it's, I couldn't even imagine, that's literally the drain ditch that's crumbling from around Danielle's home, and the streets are, it's bad. Like, the river that it looks like is just, if you swipe over, you're more than welcome to look at it. But it needs to be a priority on our stormwater project budget. Like, it cannot wait, and like I said, with the rain coming in, these guys are gonna be spending hundreds of thousands of dollars to fix their houses.
Is there any fishing tonight?
There is goldfish in there and a snapping turtle.
Goldfish.
Correct? Over in the creek. There's enough water that stays in there. I think that goes into So, I just wanted to make everybody aware, and I told the residents at this point, all they can do is show up and stay on, so.
The sinkhole was, yeah, cost.
So that's my thing, I want that to be a priority, for sure. Anybody else? Anything? I thank you guys for coming tonight, and make sure that you watch the agenda site, and I'll stay in communication with you, as well as, you know, reaching out to your alderman to make sure you're present at that meeting also. Okay?
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, planning and zoning. Did you have anything else about the project? Sorry.
Just, I know in your packets, I put the pre-construction meeting was to be rescheduled late Friday, they're rescheduled to be next Wednesday at 10 a.m. here
And
in
that
the
is
board.
open to the public?
It's open to the public. There probably won't be much, if any, engagement,
Mhm.
but it is open to the public, so everybody can sit in. The board's more than welcome. Kevin, not sure where you're at, you're more than welcome to come.
So residents, Wednesday the 6th?
I do believe, whatever, 2 days from now.
Okay, so this Wednesday at 10 a.m.?
Yes.
If you want to come. Okay? All right, sorry, planning and zoning?
You guys are gonna get tired of seeing me. We have on for the 18th, for another special use for chickens over in the Hunters Glen subdivision. So we will have that on for the meeting. We also did discuss preliminary discussions at the last meeting on the gaming machines. So I talked to Allison about what our P&Z has requested to move forward with. She's working on getting an ordinance together to take back to P&Z to get a recommendation to you all for a ordinance on the gaming machines.
How does that work with the bill that's coming up? Isn't there a bill coming up that pertains to the gaming machines? I seen it on the proposal for the Missouri site, that there was a bill that was being presented.
I don't know what.
There is some bill being presented, but I think it's a 30,000 foot look at it. Whether or not it gets through both the chambers, I don't know. There's a lot. There is one, yes, there's a lot of ifs and a lot of variables in that bill.
Yeah,
Okay.
my understanding is that the board just wanted some ability to regulate these things and where they're gonna go. I got the feedback from Adam, so I'll prepare an ordinance for him to show P&Z at their next meeting, make sure it reflects what they were thinking, and then it will come to you all. I mean, if the state decides to regulate it, that's great, but they haven't, and so even if they do, it will be after August. So we should go ahead and get something in place, and then you can always tweak it.
Okay. Right.
Are there any local municipalities that have done this yet?
I know Arnold has, and I believe Festus has as well. There were cities, all of the cities were kind of meeting to talk about how to deal with it. So I'm not sure which ones have passed it and which ones haven't, but everybody was like moving towards a direction of some sort of regulation. And everybody's is gonna look different because some cities, for example, didn't want them to have these machines in a convenience store, while other cities don't care about that. So it's those sort of things, everybody's kind of doing it on their own. If the state came out and said this is the regulations, that would make it a lot easier, but it's gonna be a case-by-case basis, so whatever you're comfortable with is what we'll do.
And I know Hillsborough is going to address it in their own way. They're just taking their time. Festus, they gave a very cryptic answer, but they're going to address it in their own unique way.
Now, if the state comes out with a ruling on this, does that trump ours?
It would, if ours conflicts with it, but ours could coincide with
Okay.
it, so it will just, I don't know what they're gonna do, so.
Yeah, there's a lot of ifs with the state though.
I understand.
It's the state.
Thank you.
You need to leave? No?
I'll probably be back up for board of adjustment.
What's that?
Tourism?
We're supposed to have a meeting sometime, the first one in a year.
Yeah, we had any requests? I know that racetrack is coming up. How are we with collecting funds from Super 8?
Super 8 has not given us any money in over a year. And so we're putting together something right now along with a couple other fees and fines that they owe us.
Isn't that a violation of their license? Didn't we like vote on
Yeah, we
that
did.
if they didn't pay, they were gonna be shut down?
And there's been some other things which have came to light within the past probably 10 days also.
Yeah, and they were shut down for it was months by the state, and they reopened, and now we have other issues. So it all needs to be addressed. We're on
But I
it.
thought we voted to close it.
So you voted to close it, they filed an injunction. The injunction, they closed the top 2 floors, so it was
Yeah,
just,
but this was after that. This is
so then the
There
state
too.
closed it.
we
I
voted.
thought we made an agreement once they reopened, like the flap camera and the tourism,
Yeah.
they had to stay up to par.
Yeah, they have not. And there's robust penalty provisions in there, which they've just kind of disregarded. I think they quit paying their lawyer because he quit responding, because they contacted him with some regularity. So we're gonna need to probably pull their license again.
When was the last time we got a payment from them?
On the block cameras or the tourism?
October of 2023.
We got a payment on the flat cameras this year.
We got a payment, but they were late in their payment and they chose not to pay the penalty, they just paid the flat out fee. And so that was the latest development that we got, probably, like I said, 10 days ago.
When did they reopen? Were they closed in '24?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right after that tornado came through,
and they ripped the roof off.
That was the second time though, because there was
That
or maybe
was
that was the
safety.
first time, because there was the CO2 leak as well.
That
So
was the first,
that was the first one, then there was,
Tornado came in 23.
I think
Or
that
the CO2 leak happened first. They were shut down by us and the fire department for a week.
No,
Because that was the water heater, and
Okay.
then we got a hold of the state.
Yeah.
The state came in the following week and had a plethora of violations that they then shut them down for I believe it was 3 months.
Okay, so, but that was all in 23. Because the tornado came through and ripped their roof off in 23, because that's from the tree at our house. So 'cause I was out of town when that happened. So that was in 23, so then they reopened back up when?
Late 23.
was it?
Or was it early
I think it
24?
was 24.
I think it was in the
I'm pretty sure it's
fall, so
24.
I think they were closed down through the new year and everything.
Yeah. they
So,
were.
say March of 24. So it's been a year that they've been operating and we haven't collected anything and we haven't went after them.
Do you want to instruct us to do that?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think we already did. I think we already took a vote, didn't we, that if they violated the flat camera or paying any of their fees, that they would be shut down. I mean, we need to recheck the
Okay.
minutes, but I'm pretty sure we already said that we were not gonna keep dealing with it, and we made that an agreement. Was it not? But,
Well, and when they quit responding and, yeah, we've got to do something, but I do remember that. I don't remember the exact wording, but
yeah, I would say go back to the minutes and verify what it was that we said. But that's been a year that they've been able to operate and not collect and do what they want to do, and we haven't done anything, so. And then you said the flat camera, you said the flat camera?
And you said you paid.
So we sent out, our agreement was, I think, January 1st. We sent them, give them 30 days notice to get square with that. We sent them a late notice and they paid, like I said, probably not last week, but maybe at the end of 2 weeks ago. And, it's a pretty hefty late fee and they only opted to pay the original agreement.
So, do we pay it and then they reimburse us, or are they paying them directly?
We pay it and they reimburse
Okay,
us.
so it's still up and running then?
It's still up and running, it's still active, yes.
Okay, yeah, I mean, we need to do something. Board of Adjustments, Police Personnel Board,
Nothing.
haven't had a meeting in kind of forever.
Park Board,
Nothing.
Allison,
Nothing for open.
anything for the chief?
Nothing.
All right, Andy, you're up.
I have two things. One in your packet is, this was already budgeted, but it's a roofing RFQ. So between myself, Ron, Adam, we've talked about the roofing companies, roofing, Ashton makes fun of me. So this is what I'd like to put out. Ideally, I'd like to have it for the April meeting, so we'll get it going on that. It's gonna be a large expense, but it's needed. I mean, if you walk around anywhere, you'll see large things. And the second thing is a growing list of employee complaints. I spoke to Alderman Marcus, and he told me to put it in the packet, so it's just a growing list of complaints, of written complaints from employees.
Okay, so we made it public, so let's go ahead and walk through it. What we got?
Well, a lot of these have been redacted. We have ones ranging from retirement reasons, incident with the mayor, Alderman Brooks from the police department, formal complaint from Alderman Brooks.
So let's dive into these, because I'm really curious on a lot of them. So Alderman Marcus here chose to make it a public thing, so we're gonna air it tonight. Okay? So, we're gonna start with this, okay? Because what I'm seeing here is, in all honesty, this is just a political thing. So if we have a lot of these complaints that are gonna keep coming forward, we need to address them for the sake of our employees and quite frankly, for the sake of our town. Okay? This isn't something that we're going to continue to keep moving forward, and I'm going to just say that this does not matter what the election holds in April. This isn't gonna go away, this is going to continue. So you cannot consider this a public thing and then redact what you want to redact. If you're going to make these complaints in the public, then you need to follow through with them. We need to be responsible to our citizens here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and start with the first couple that we have. Have you investigated any of these complaints?
I have, yes.
Okay, and you are thoroughly in agreement that they are 100% truth?
Yes.
Okay, you know for sure because you were at each one of them, right?
No, I was not at each one of them, but multiple people have reported virtually the identical story.
Identical stories?
Yes.
So, I'm just gonna start with the very first one, which I think you had noted as what, Exhibit A?
There'd be retirement reasons.
Yeah. So, I honestly, wasn't aware of this complaint until I was brought forward a video that Alderman Miles made and posted on social media on his Facebook webpage to his subdivision. Are you guys aware of that? Okay.
Where all of
So that's how I was made aware of this complaint. And I have it, if anybody wants to watch it, quite frankly, it should be public to everybody, not just the subdivision. But he states the employee's name online, like literally.
I did not state the employee's name.
Do you want me to play it right now? Because you did. You stated her name on the social media. I felt horrible for her because she
Well,
wasn't
I got
aware
it
of
on
it.
here, mine too, and I didn't state, oh, look, but I didn't state her name.
Yeah, your friendly alderman, neighborhood alderman, yeah, you have it out there, literally,
I got it
in
right
the
here.
thing. So,
Madam
what I
Mayor,
don't understand.
Madam Mayor, point of inquiry here.
Sure,
Do we not have a social media policy?
we do,
Okay, thank you.
we do. Sorry. Trying to gather my notes here. Because my problem is I've since found out that there are multiple employee complaints on myself, on Alderman Brooks, and other people. I don't know who the other people are. There was also a message today that Alderman Miles put out on his social media page stating that there were 8 employees that were filing complaints against myself and Alderman. So what I'm concerned at is, first and foremost, on Mr. Miles's social media post, he starts out with the fact that he didn't bring it up here, but he got a letter from a good lady, the head of our sewer department, in which later he calls her by name. I'm not gonna name her. But my concern is, he posted this video on 2/14. The supposed complaint was during a meeting over at the sewer and water department, which I did go in on, and I did advise, and I did see. I'm gonna state here that absolutely not one word of this complaint is true. And do you know how I know that? Because I have that meeting on recording, okay? So I'm gonna tell you right now, for you to investigate this, you didn't investigate it. You may have employees, hold on, you may have employees that have told you this, but I'm curious as to what the employees are being told. Furthermore, I was told that the meeting was a bust with the contractor that was present. Actually, it wasn't, it was a very good meeting. Thirdly, I'm curious as to the fact that Mr. Miles states that he says that they asked him to come down and speak with her. Who is they? And why were you the only alderman that was invited down to speak with her and ask her to stay here? I'm concerned with that. So I have a multitude of questions here. Furthermore, like I said, this video was put out on February 14th. Today is March 3rd. We were not made aware of this memo or this complaint until Friday, when the agenda was posted. So I don't understand why only certain board members are privy to information at special times or behind closed doors, but I do see that this is a very big problem here. If there's going to be a situation that needs to be brought to the board, as a concern or a problem, and that we need to protect employees, if this is such a situation, then maybe we should be holding special meetings. Maybe we should be contacting the board members and saying, hey, we have a problem. There's a situation here. I also have some concerns that, you know, we weren't made aware of meetings going on here at City Hall, because all of these things are taking place with violations. We have ordinances set in place that says that our board members here don't interfere with our employees. However, we allow them to run amok here and go to their departments, go behind closed doors, have meetings. It's a violation. Why aren't we protecting our employees? So it was also said that I strongly encourage our employees. You're absolutely right, I do. I will never, ever not encourage an employee to be all that they can be, ever.
That's not what that is about.
That is what that's
That
about.
was not. There's a 10-minute video, if anybody wants to watch it.
Sure, make
Right
it
there.
public instead of just on your social media feed. But the problem is,
It was public, it went into PEVELY Heights, whoever was involved with that, there was
You have a
500
whole-
watches, so the 500 people saw it, so it
you
was
have a
public.
whole ward.
It was public.
Make it available to your entire ward
It
instead
was.
of just a few.
You're picking pieces out of it that suit you, Madam Mayor.
I'm just going off of your
You're not
notes.
picking the whole thing.
So anyway, it goes.
See what
back-
happens when the truth comes out, folks? When
Absolutely.
somebody speaks the truth against Madam Mayor right now, it's going bad. Joe, I'm telling
Hey,
you, brother.
hey, I don't need any crosstalk with any employees.
Point of order here.
Yeah, I
That's
don't need
fine.
any crosstalk.
That's fine. If you're gonna
These-
accuse me though,
Point of order,
do
sir.
the whole thing.
So wait a minute. I haven't accused anybody of anything. I'm just taking the notes directly from your message.
Okay, well,
Exactly
obviously
what you
did right.
said. You know, also, if you want to discredit people, then you need to bring these complaints forward to them and say, hey, we have an issue. Instead, what you're trying to do is you're just trying to make people look bad
I got a
for an
question.
election year. Sure.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
That's not. Hey, no.
We have a motion on the table.
You chose,
There's a motion on the floor.
do we have a second? Because you all chose to put this, you, Alderman Marcus, chose to put this on an open meeting, but you
That's
did
why I'm
not
making
want
a
to
motion
discuss it.
adjourn. I'm not discussing everything.
Then
You
why
are.
would you put it on an open session?
I'll make a motion to adjourn. Need a second.
You got a second? Because I really think the residents
Yeah,
and
we'd
these
like to
board
know.
members.
Everyone.
Hey,
What do you mean?
no,
It's like,
if you're gonna talk, you're gonna be leaving.
it's like Steve said, the truth coming out, you don't want to handle the truth.
I am here in front of all these residents,
Yes.
and I'm ready to bring it out. You asked him,
Bring it on.
our
up and get it
city
out there, everybody else,
administrator,
but
to bring it out on
You
a
don't
public
wanna hear
meeting, but
anything
you don't wanna talk about it.
No. You are making, Steve's telling you.
Hey.
That's on there and everything else is public information.
And I'm
Anybody wants to
telling
see
you
it, you can do that.
That I didn't learn of this complaint until I got our agenda, and I specifically asked at the last board meeting that all agendas are posted by Thursday. We never had a problem posting our agendas on the Thursday before until I handed it over. You would get a late one, but you usually always had it done Thursday afternoon or Friday.
She's,
Most of them were done on Friday.
Okay. So early, late, do we wait till 3:30, 4 o'clock in the afternoon?
It just depended.
Okay. So I specifically asked at the last board meeting that we be open and transparent to all of our people and start having these agendas posted on Thursday, so it gives the people the ability to ask questions on Thursday, get their packets so they can research it all weekend long, and if they have issues, they're aware of what's going on come Monday.
we never had a
Instead,
problem before.
we do have problems. We have all kinds of problems, evidently, because you have requested that we put all these complaints out here in the public. I have another complaint that states that I was rummaging through your office when you were not here, Ashton. Actually, that one's also on recording. And no, I never touched anything in your office until, and I specifically will say, I went in and spoke with Linda. I asked her where the employee manual was. I also asked where the Board of Alderman's manual was so that we knew what was going on, code of conduct. She said, it's in your room. I said, do you know where we're at? And she's like, no. She got up and went in with me. She touched the things on your bookshelf. She set your files that were on the bookshelf on your desk. That's, yes, you
No,
did,
ma'am,
Linda.
I did not.
It's
No,
on
I
the
said-
video.
I said they were probably on her bookshelf. The files that you picked up were on the bookshelf. I did not move those.
You moved them from the bookshelf to the desk
You
to
saw
the
my
drawer.
hands on that file
And I
moved
did.
it to the desk.
And I asked you specifically, why would we be destroying documents that are legal documents? That's all I said, and I said, hang
We
tight.
scan them before we destroy them.
But
Linda,
it's
don't you
kind
got a
of
certain
obvious.
time you gotta destroy stuff?
Not legal documents, they're actually, if you go through Missouri
She
retention law,
says yes.
legal documents are not, they don't give a time frame.
Yes.
I got it pulled. There's no time frame on a legal document.
Yes, ma'am.
So we'll address that, we'll get that, the Missouri retention law, we'll get it pulled, and we'll go through that also. But if you're going to request that you put stuff on a public note, be prepared to answer those questions.
Well, their answer
You
is you don't believe-
requested that this
They're
be on
answering you,
here.
they're telling you no, but you keep
I
on
have the
saying
recording. Would you like me to play it?
Recording when
Would
you
you
win.
like me to play it? I specifically asked you that same day if there were any meetings, if we were having any meetings, and you said, no, not that I'm aware of. I also
What's
asked,
that meeting that I
Yeah, we
was-
didn't
why,
aware of any meetings.
Andy, why were you not available and readily at the meeting that Steve Marcus was at with the sewer department and a contractor? Why were you not made aware as the city
So
administrator?
what happened is our department heads, as they're supposed to do, rectify the problem, and they were gonna bring it to me. I wasn't aware of the meeting until after, our department heads came back and informed me of what was going on.
And
So
they
a
called
board
me.
member was present at a meeting with the department heads.
Sure.
But you, as their direct supervisor, was not made aware of a meeting and was not present at the meeting.
I was there because we were asked, and before, Don and I have always talked to Jackie and Julie. We were the liaisons between what was going on with the sewer department, so they asked me to come down there. Correct?
Again,
Jackie?
Yeah,
again,
we did ask Marcus to come down. It wasn't nothing private.
right?
Yeah.
We just jotted a couple questions, that would be probably on us. We didn't ask Andy. We didn't think much of it. It was a couple questions. So
Mhm.
I didn't know it was gonna be a big deal.
Yeah. Big
I
deal
don't
is the
know.
point that our guy in charge doesn't know what's going on, and he's not being included in it, and that's no wrong of yours. That's, he should be making sure that the
When I was
supervisor.
there, did I not ask you, Jackie, if Andy or Don were coming down and everything else? And
You
said-
did ask, and I said, no, I apologize.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
So,
So it wasn't
did you
because I
tell
didn't
her the
call.
meeting, or did Julie? Because we were told Julie.
I text Marcus, but Julie asked me to. Yeah, just, we had a couple questions, she asked me to text him, we didn't think it was that big of a deal, I apologize, it wasn't anything like that.
Yeah.
Don had a couple questions and asked him to come down, but he did ask if I text Don or Andy, I said, no, and I apologize for that.
You don't have to apologize, it's not your fault. It's not your fault. We have leaders here that should be handling it, not your fault.
The department heads meet all the time without my knowledge. And they bring it up to me, they brought it up to me by 10:30 that day.
That's a good question. So does Allison normally handle calling to order meetings?
She never does, no.
Never.
No.
Okay. So on January 31st, Allison, did you call all the supervisors to come in for a department head meeting? You sure?
Yes, I am sure that on January 31st, I did not do that.
Around 1:30, all the department heads came in for a meeting per your request around 1:30, that you had a meeting with them asking what all was going on in their departments, how things were being handled, if they needed anything, if their budget stuff was being taken care of.
No, that did not happen that way. I don't really feel like you want me to tell you.
I'm just asking because I
And I
wasn't
just want to
informed.
apologize to all these employees that have been put on the spot this way. This is horrible. The amount of liability that's being brought up by calling them out like this, like, I can't believe anybody still works here.
Then maybe
It's because you're elected. We have to talk about these in public when you're elected.
you two made the decision to put this on a public meeting.
I'm not in charge of the agenda.
But you are our legal advisor, so you two talk all the time because you have meetings at restaurants
report
and
to them.
outside of City Hall and inside of City Hall. It's even on your bill that you guys go out and talk and have meetings, so,
I'm
but
Mayor Pro
you.
Tem, I go out and talk to the department.
He's our
heads. I-
supervisor.
Attorney supervisor.
Yeah, that's not how that works.
Yeah, it does.
No, that's not how
They
that works.
voted, we report directly to Steve.
Yeah, they report to me.
Actually, that's a
remember?
violation, did you know that?
I
No,
guess
it's
you
not.
should report.
It is, because
It's
you
a
didn't change the
motion we
ordinance.
made for you, them all to report to me.
It's-
Andy, Allison, and the chief report to me. Department heads report to them.
So if you check with the MML and you check with the Attorney General's office, it's actually a violation. In order to make a vote like that, Allison, you have to have an ordinance that states that also to take away the powers of the mayor.
The amount of liability you created
Mhm.
with your behavior in the police department, with your behavior towards the city administrator, the fact that lawyers got involved, the fact that people are quitting. That's why this has happened. That's why they removed your power, because you were gonna get us sued.
Why
That's
do you
what
think
happened.
Andy hired his own attorney? Because of harassment.
Well, I think honestly, Andy has been put in the middle of a circumstance, like considering the fact
By
that
you? By you?
that you and
No.
Don, from my understanding, had to corner him because he's missed so many days. Like, these are things that are being brought.
never
Are you
cornered-
talking about?
Ornament.
We never cornered Andy.
Did you have a meeting?
We never cornered
Because you
Andy.
were a no call, no show, nobody knew where you
Oh,
were.
I
they were
always call,
concerned.
always text in writing when I'm not gonna make it here, I always have. So I no call, no show, that is false.
So again, all of these things are here, and you guys, you wanna complain about people, but whenever they're brought here to discuss them, you guys don't wanna discuss it? That you're all just gonna keep saying, nope, that's not how it works, nope, that's not how it works?
I brought these complaints to the mayor pro tem, who I report to, based on the board's direction.
Okay. All right,
Madam Mayor, point of inquiry again.
sure.
Was there a meeting or not on the 31st?
There was a meeting. Mrs. Sweeney actually called to order the meeting with the
I did not,
department heads.
that did not happen. I did not have a meeting on the 31st. I didn't call a meeting.
So hey, this whole meeting is recorded. We're good to go, so whenever everything comes down and you wanna keep continuing that you didn't do something, then that's fine, but this is all on recording. So when it comes down to the simple fact and everything starts going on, that's your word, you wanna stick to it, that's fine, but we all know the truth. So you guys can sit here and say what you wanna say, but I'm telling you right now, all of this stuff is gonna come out, everything is gonna be on recording, and it is going to come out in full truth. So if you guys wanna keep sitting here saying this, like, you guys are the one that brought this to the open meeting. You guys are the ones that made the decision to put this on an agenda item for an open meeting. You guys are the ones that are circumventing the law. You have turned the
What law?
whole,
What
I'm
law?
talking, and I have not given you the floor yet, first off. I let you speak when it's time. So quite frankly, you all have turned the sunshine law into a tool to weaponize and to close off transparency and openness. You've completely done that. There are problems here, and I will continue to address them. So in all honesty, some people want to talk about how people are ungodly or godly. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to follow my faith. And whether I win or lose this election in April, I'm still a winner. Because I'm still going to be sitting out there in those seats with all those people sitting here demanding transparency and absolute honesty from you all. So it doesn't matter if you win or lose this. It does not matter, because at the end of the day, these people, I'm going to be supporting them every step of the way to make sure that you all up here are doing what you're supposed to do, and everybody behind the doors. I don't want any applause. I don't want any applause. I don't want any applause. But I'm telling you now, what is going on the last couple of months, I think you said at your fundraiser meeting that, I went rogue the last few months. I went rogue the last few months because I'm starting to see what's going on behind closed doors. And I don't like it, and I know these residents don't either. So just to say, if this is your political ploy that you're gonna keep doing to try to make me look bad, go ahead. I'm gonna call you out at every corner. And everybody that wants to continue to pull this stuff and hide stuff and lie, it's gonna come out. Just saying, it's gonna come out. Motion to adjourn. Motion by Alderman Leader. Oh, sorry, no, we can't do that. Alderman Brooks, your comment, sorry, my bad.
I don't know how to top all that, Mayor.
I'm sorry.
I don't know how to top all that. Mr. Hickson,
Yes.
number one, last month's meeting, you said you officially took over its PEVELY Police Department back on the 23rd of December. Is that true?
Yes, I am in charge of the police department. So
Thank you. Given a little grace between the dates of 12/23 and 1/1, so the holiday week, Can you give me an idea of how many times the PEVELY police have patrolled up Stone Mountain Court?
I have no idea. Patrol street is not my responsibility, these sergeants, that run day-to-day.
But you're the top dog considered in, like, the leadership board to go to where the PEVELY patrol, right?
It's also like I'm the top dog and I have no idea how many gallons of water we produce or how many gallons of water or sewage we
Okay,
treat.
then, let me enlighten you then,
Okay.
okay? During that time frame, 168 hours, not once did I see on my ring camera during the day a PEVELY police car. I did see PEVELY streets 13 times. I did see the mailman 6 times and the trash truck twice. That's 168 hours. Just telling you. So what I want to say is, let's put it in perspective. The pessimists would probably say, our police department has some shortcomings. The optimists would say, we can do better. And I'm going to take the humanist side tonight and say, I feel neglected, as well as when I say we feel neglected. That is not only the 200 homes in Southern Heights, about the 50 homes on Stone Mountain Court, and the citizens of Ward 4. Continuing with the police matters. Again, you are the point of contact, you say, correct?
We'll say point of contact, yes,
Okay.
that's good.
At our last board meeting, you were aware that there was not a single police officer in the galley outside during our closed meeting?
I was not, no.
Okay. It kind of makes me wonder how much of a closed meeting we really had, or safety. Again, as you stated earlier, you are the leading department. I just hope that, can we please explain this scheduling oversight thing? All right?
I can check with the sergeants to see what the scheduling is.
Fair enough, because again, the pessimist would say, if someone heard all the details of our closed meeting, they're gonna get sued. The optimist might say, it won't happen again, it's just an anomaly in the scheduling. But I'm gonna take the human side again and say, we felt unprotected, okay? And as we as citizens, that's not a good thing. Number 3, back in January of the last 2 months, I asked for a little bit more communication from you. In that 2-month period since then, can you tell me how many different times you have corresponded with pertinent information in regards to the city of PEVELY?
Well, one of my biggest projects, the I-55 project coming this way, is heading north. Every time I get official communication from KCI, I make sure I send out the emails. That's kind of the biggest thing I've been dealing with the past 2 months. I spent a lot of time in meetings, and even to the point where I was down there at PEVELY Park last week, walking up and down with them. A lot of that is, yes, I can communicate with them, I'll wait for KCI to put out. So that's kind of the big point of contact. Another big point of contact I've been working with has been the stormwater project. We were supposed to have a stormwater pre-construction meeting last Wednesday. Darren, who is with Cochrane, fell ill. He's not able to make it. As soon as I knew that, I made everybody reschedule it. There's a lot of stuff that I do, the day-to-day stuff, which you're more than welcome to come sit with me at Alderman Brooks, all you would like. But a lot of the stuff, the pertinent stuff, I feel I share an email and
Okay.
let you guys know.
Let me just condense it down just to only 8 topics. My sunshine requests, one about a fundraiser, 4 times about the I-55 corridor that's being worked on, a stormwater meeting that was proposed and then canceled, the water rate study, an upcoming summons, the work agenda, citizens' concerns. That's only 8 topics. That's all, I'm just wondering. Okay. So, do you know the last time you sent out an Andy Hickson top 10?
I was told not to send out top 10s anymore.
By whom?
You, Alderman Mayor. I was told not to send it out because, quote unquote, you didn't like being blindsided by people knowing more information that you have.
Actually, we're gonna address that really fast. I told you that you needed to send them out to the board members and the employees. However, you were sending them out to every commercial contact you had in your email. All business owners, all everything, and people that were outside of the city were finding out things, one, that they probably shouldn't even know about yet until we discussed it as a board or even talked about it. And I told you, you need to send out the top 10 specifically to all of us.
Okay.
I never said to stop sending them, so let's clarify that.
Yeah, the last one I got was back on 3/17/2023. That's almost 2 years ago. So again, just taking it from my perspective, the pessimist would say, what does go on at City Hall? The optimist would say, City Hall must be so busy that they must need help. Or I'm just gonna take the humanist approach again and say, I feel like you don't care about the citizens of PEVELY.
I do care about citizens, but thank you.
All right, about 2 years ago, you promised we would have a 1-year, 3-year, and 5-year plan. As of today, I still don't have any artifacts showing that this has been done. Can you explain to me where those documents are at?
Yeah, so, shortly before we started the budget session, I sent a 1-3-5-year game plan, or CIP, to all the department heads. Probably the best example is actually Jackie took advantage of that. And coming up, and I do believe, actually, I know, she said when we had to replace all the water meters,
Okay.
she said this was on her 5-year game plan, but due to unforeseen circumstances, had to bring it up. So yes, our employees, our supervisors follow a 1-3-5-year game plan when it comes to budget.
But I haven't got anything from you about the whole city.
We talk about a lot in our budgets of our 1-3-5-year game plans.
But 2 years ago, you promised me we would have artifacts.
Okay.
Okay? So again, pessimist, a city without a plan is a disaster in the making, and we can see with the sinkhole. Okay? Optimist, I'm sure things really do take time. But again, the humanist approach is, I feel like you've lied to me.
Oh, I'm sorry, I can feel that.
Number 5. Also, about 2 years ago, you promised to have job descriptions outlined for the city in every position. How's that come along?
We haven't completed, we've had those multiple years ago. In fact, part of the salary study that we had to have was creating job descriptions. We have all those, and whenever we have a new position opening, we'll say water or sewer operator. That's what we advertise with.
Can I have all those artifacts at the next meeting?
Yes.
Again, these are things you've done, but when you said you were gonna do them, we haven't seen them. So again, maybe it does take 2 years to get this kind of stuff done. Maybe it's just a simple fix, or again, personally, I just feel disappointed.
Sorry.
Number 6. Last month, we requested a simple accommodation of having the board agenda sent to us on a Thursday. Again, for the 3rd month in a row, we get it just before close of business on a Friday. I mean, really, it's really a disservice to the citizens.
In two parts, two folds of that. No,
not
two
yet.
folds of that,
No.
Alderman Brooks. One, Ashley was out of town, so it was Linda and myself, we typically don't put together agendas. The second thing, we're waiting for Mr. Freebus' contract to come out. I wanted to make sure I had that in the agenda since it was a near emergency contract, so we were waiting for that. In between correspondence with Mr. Freebus and our city attorney, it didn't come to us until probably 1 o'clock on Friday.
So that goes back to originally, my issue number 3, more communication. But it's nice to just say, hey, the agenda's coming, but we're waiting on this, please hold tight.
All right?
Okay. Again, just simple communication, but again, that's bad government right there for you. That's what the pessimists say. Optimists, at least every table agenda, and we can further review, so we can have some more time to think about these. But then I'm gonna take the humanist again and just say, I feel like this is just a lack of courtesy. Number 7, and another employee made public comments about an employee in a private matter that was discussed in closed session. What is the proper course of action the cities take on something like that?
I'm gonna have to ask for clarification on that.
Somebody made some comments on our social media, but we have a social media policy, but yet that's not being followed. What would you say should be our course of action for that?
Well, we should follow our social media policy, especially if it came from an official city account.
So we'll put that on the agenda for the next month then. Okay, again, there goes our social media ruining another person's career, but the optimist says, as long as that person probably takes a higher grant and resigns, it'd be the right thing to do. But I'm gonna take the humanist and just say, I feel I've been embarrassed. In an email dated 12/23, you stated that I'm not allowed to investigate any matters among city employees, police department, or anything else through sunshine requests. Although sunshine requests are a legal and procedural matter in doing what's right to gain information, you said I can't even sunshine certain documents. Can you please explain to me why an opinion from the Attorney General, number 235-2000, states that the Board of Aldermen may review contents of a personnel file of a city employee if such necessary to care, manage, or control the city. That was dated back in September 7th, 2000. Again, it just makes me more concerning here that tonight we're investigating someone, but yet I didn't hear anyone get in trouble for it. When I investigated, I got in trouble. So let's just recap this one. Something shady's going on here, said this pessimist. The optimist, to right the wrong, Rich should be allowed to follow the Attorney General's opinion since it looks like he was operating legally. But I'm going to take the humanist side and just say, I feel I've been discriminated against. Number 9. In regards to the past issues, please be aware that a letter of formal complaint is coming, not only to you, but to the city office as well, because I've been discriminated against.
All right.
Okay? I'll have that to you. And again, what do we want to go to the optimist pessimist? Last meeting we asked, where are we on posting our meetings, live streaming.
Mhm.
Where are we at?
Yeah.
Live streaming is not an option, however, the meetings are posted online. I went through the next day, got in touch with AV Capture, and they were posted online the next day.
Okay, so if our citizens want to get a video or a clip of that, they have to be charged?
No, it's online.
It's
You can
online.
just
It's
go
all
to
online
the-
now?
Yeah, you just go to the meeting page, and it says to view this video online, click here, and you can click it.
So we're up and running again. Again, going back to number 5, communication would be nice to know that we can now do that. Okay. All right, so first, I'd like to say thank you for those that showed up tonight. The sinkhole is a concern, even though it's not my ward. I will work in my best interest for you guys on that one. That is a huge concern. I see it more as a safety issue, more than anything else right now. That is not a planned river in our city. Again, many of our citizens and people who also, some of you come from friends and family, and some are the true followers of Jesus. Although you've been called out on social media as trying to intimidate the board here by just sitting here for the past few meetings, we know that's farthest from the truth. Thank you again for showing up. Please continue to show up. Secondly, if you don't mind me paraphrasing, Mr. Miles, you recall that night in the gentleman's club where the little girl from Arkansas caught your attention? You stated in your testimony that God uses people to get to people. Well, maybe I'm that next person despite not being from Arkansas. In the great words of His Holiness, the Dalai Lama, one's enemy cannot hurt you while you're hugging him. Quit hating my friends, and last but not least, our citizens. I'm ready for my hug, bro. I am. Thank you.
Alderman Dittman.
I just want to say I live over in Southern Heights as well. I'm outside with my kids all the time. I've never felt unsafe. I see the police patrolling there all the time. I'm up at wee hours of the night, up at PEVELY Park at 4 o'clock in the morning working out. So never felt unsafe in the city of PEVELY. That's all I have.
Alderman Miles.
No.
Alderman Leader.
Yes, actually, I would like to make a note to Mr. Hickson for being so calm, for everything that's being thrown at him, and he holds himself a lot better than most of us do in these situations.
That it?
Yeah.
Alderman Yant.
Just one comment. I hate this kind of politics. This is driving me insane, and there is a very, very good chance that this is my last board meeting ever.
I agree, and I hate to hear that. Alderman Tucker.
Man. Merry Christmas. I don't know. I think we got some people here that's practice some ethical questions. You know, I don't know. I don't really know where to go with this because I'm not going to throw a bunch of fake stuff out there. But I do have information about a few things, and I think that's better left unsaid at the moment. So I'll pass for now. But this is wow. I don't know how we get to this point. So.
Agreed. Alderman Minkus. Alderman Marcus.
Nope.
All right. Just for the next board meeting, if you could make sure that's on the agenda for the county road refunds, and make sure we're up to speed on that. Also, the Super 8, make sure that we're up to speed on that. Also, I know that we are looking at contracts, and I know we just did the contract with Freebus, but I did have a question as to how do we decide who we give contracts to and who we don't? I know we're talking in an emergency basis for Freebus, that's for the sewer department. How do we handle the contract for the emergency service basis for the water department also? Because we have no contract for that, however, we spend thousands of dollars on that.
Okay.
So we need to make sure we're treating contracts one and the same. And again, my apologies to our residents and to our people out in the audience today. Absolutely did not want to have a negative argument or any of the above, because I hate shining a negative light on the city of PEVELY, but at the same time, it's time for it to start coming out. So I want to make sure that everybody has a safe and good evening. I know it's supposed to have a lot of rain this next couple of days, so please, residents over in that area, reach out to us, take pictures, let us know what's going on, and we will be happy to come and take care of whatever we can for you, pictures, whatever it is, even if it's just a person to talk. All right, at this time, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion by Alderman Minkus, second.
Second.
Second by Alderman Leader. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Have a good evening.
Is that final?